The next mistake is neglect of physical and mental health. You hear people say things like, I'm too busy building an empire to go to the gym or see a therapist. Sleep is for the weak. I will focus on my health after I make it. Now, the counter truth to this is your mind and body are the chassis that carries your empire. You cannot drive a Formula One car with the engine of a rusty pickup and expect to win. Neglecting health is a high interest loan that will eventually be called in with catastrophic consequence. Burnout, chaotic illness, and mental fog will destroy your ability to make sound judgments long before you reach your goals. The next mistake you need to avoid is the "I've arrived my destination" disease. People say things like, when my net worth is $100 million, I would have made it, then I can relax and stop learning. The counter truth is that real estate mastery is not a destination, it is a direction. The market evolves, regulations change, new strategies emerge, and economic cycles turn. The moment you believe you know it all, it is the moment you become obsolete. Complacency is a silent killer of real estate fortunes. The most successful investors are perpetual students. The next mistake you must avoid is confusing the term legacy for a will. Now, people say things like, my legacy is what I leave for my children in my will. It is about the assets they inherit. The counter truth to this is that your true legacy is not the properties you leave behind, but the principles, the knowledge, and impact you instill. A fortune transferred without financial literacy and a sense of purpose is often squandered within a generation. Building a legacy means building people and systems that can sustain and grow the wealth long after you are gone. The next mistake you must avoid is the neglect of the why. People say things like, the goal is to make more money, that is the why. Now, the counter truth to this mistake is that money is a fuel, not a destination. Without a compelling why, a purpose that is bigger than your bank account, the pursuit of wealth becomes a meaningless, exhausting treadmill. Your why is the anchor that keeps you steady during market crashes, the compass that guides your decision, and the source of energy that prevents burnout. It is the difference between building a fortune and building a fulfilling life. The next mistake you must avoid when it comes to real estate in Nigeria is the failure to build a personal board of directors. People arrogantly say things like, I have my professional team, my lawyer, accountant, agent, that's all I need. The counter truth is that your professional team manages your business. Your personal board of directors manages you. This is a small trusted group of mentors, peers, and friends who offer wisdom not on deal but on your life, leadership, and character. They are the people who will tell you the truth when you are being arrogant, scared, or foolish. They hold you accountable to your highest self. The next mistake you must avoid is the inability to pivot. People say things like, I have a winning strategy. I will stick to it no matter what the market does. Now, the counter truth to this mistake is that stubbornness is not the same as perseverance. Perseverance is sticking to your goals. Stubbornness is sticking to your methods long after they have stopped working. The ability to pivot, to change your strategy in response to new data, is a superpower. The market is a river. You can't stop its flow, but you can learn to navigate its current. The next mistake is called no legal war chest complacency. Now, people say things like, I have a good lawyer for contracts. I don't need a budget for legal battles. If I do things right, I will never be sued. The counter truth to this mistake is that in Nigeria real estate, litigation is not a matter of if, but when. Even if you are 100% right, a tenant or a rogue business partner can drag you to court. Defending your right requires a capital. Without a dedicated legal war chest, you may be forced into an unfair settlement or lose a rightful claim simply because you can't afford the fight. The next mistake you need to avoid is ignoring microeconomics trend. People say things like, a good deal is a good deal. I don't need to worry about inflation, exchange rate, or national GDP. My focus is strictly on this property. Now, the counter truth to this particular mistake is that real estate does not exist in a vacuum. It is profoundly impacted by microeconomic forces. Ignoring the broader economy is like sailing a small boat without checking the weather forecast. A tidal wave of inflation, a hurricane of currency devaluation, or a drought of credit can smash your good deal to pieces, no matter how perfect the location or terms are. The next is I don't need a team. Now, if you want something done right, do it yourself. I can't trust anyone. Lawyers are expensive, agents are liars, and accountants are for big corporations. The counter truth still remains that real estate is a team sport. Your network is your net worth. A trusted team of professionals, a sharp lawyer, a honest real estate agent, a proactive accountant, and a reliable builder is not an expense. It is a force multiplier that protects you, finds you opportunities, and executes your vision. The next mistake is something we call the scalability illusion. People say things like, if my model works for one property, it will work for 10. I just need to replicate the same process again and again. Now, the counter truth to this mistake is that what works on one scale often breaks at the next. A hands-on model that works for managing 2 rental properties becomes a nightmare for 20. Scaling requires systemization, delegation, and a shift from being a technician doing the work to being a manager building systems. Failure to evolve your operational model will cause your growing empire to collapse under its own weight.